Welcome back to the Daily Bitcoin 5. 5 stories every day that matter to Bitcoin. Today on the Bitcoin 5, Donald Trump directly speaks to the importance of Bitcoin. Let's go. Before the stories, the Bitcoin price check. Current price, about $65,000. Bitcoin continues grinding higher with modest gains across shorter timeframes, up 1.8% over 4 days and 1.3% over 4 weeks. The most striking metric remains the 4-year performance, a 180% gain from about $23,200 in August 2022, demonstrating Bitcoin's long-term strength, despite falling 10% from its April 2026 peak of about $72,200. Story 5. Oil crashes to $77 as Hormuz Deal Expected Imminently. Oil prices collapsed to $77 per barrel following reports that a deal to resolve tensions in the Strait of Hormuz is expected soon. A US official indicated the United States will lift its blockade of Iranian ports once shipping lanes are restored, easing geopolitical tensions that had elevated energy prices. The rapid decline in oil prices reflects markets pricing in reduced supply risk from one of the world's most critical shipping choke points. Lower energy costs typically reduce inflationary pressures, which could influence Federal Reserve policy decisions and risk asset performance. Story 4. The Russell 2000 index posted its highest weekly close in history as US markets added a staggering $2.8 trillion in value, signaling a potential rotation that could benefit Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The small cap index historically correlates with altcoin and Ethereum performance during bull markets, most notably in 2017 and 2021. Market observers view the Russell 2000 strength as evidence of risk appetite returning to markets, with capital flowing into higher beta assets. When the Russell outperforms, it typically indicates investors are seeking growth beyond mega-cap tech stocks, creating favourable conditions for speculative assets. Story 3. Michael Saylor predicts digital credit will birth next billion-dollar business. MicroStrategy chairman Michael Saylor pointed to digital credit as the next frontier for massive financial innovation. If I were looking for the next billion-dollar business in finance, I would study digital credit, Saylor wrote, highlighting the emerging sector his company has been actively developing. Digital credit represents a new financial structure where Bitcoin-backed debt instruments create yield opportunities without requiring holders to sell their underlying Bitcoin. Saylor's strategy has pioneered this approach through instruments like STRC and SETA, which trade as separate securities while being backed by the company's Bitcoin treasury. Story 2. The US dollar suffered a dramatic collapse after a shocking negative jobs report obliterated expectations. The economy lost 23,000 jobs versus forecasts for an 85,000 gain, triggering a historic currency sell-off. USD JPY plunged from 158.48 to 156.65 in a single 15-minute candle, over 180 pips, while the dollar index dropped from 99.90 to 99.40 simultaneously. The data killed any remaining case for a Fed rate hike, as lower rate expectations make dollar-denominated assets less attractive. Story 1. I see it more and more where people are paying with Bitcoin they don't even know about cash anymore, Trump stated, adding simply, crypto's a big deal. The comments represent a notable shift in narrative from traditional skepticism about Bitcoin's payment utility. While Bitcoin remains primarily a store of value in most markets, Trump's observation suggests either growing niche adoption in certain circles or his increasing exposure to crypto-friendly communities. His acknowledgement of crypto's significance could signal continued openness to favourable policies. More importantly, Trump stated that Bitcoin takes a lot of pressure off the US dollar. For Bitcoiners who see the long-term thesis of Bitcoin underpinning the global financial system that is simply unsustainable under the current increasing continued fiat debasement regime will understand the profound implications of this statement. As always, the timeframe remains unknown, but today, the Bitcoin thesis remains as strong as ever. That's today's Bitcoin 5. Let me know your favourite story from today in the comments below, and subscribe now so tomorrow's update lands directly in your feed. I'll see you tomorrow.